Sorry, I lied about having to go. And I decided to just finish the the full conquest. And I figured, okay, I might as well record this. So here it is. But like, this is just cookie cutter stuff towards the end. Nothing fancy is going on. I'm just gonna like beat people who are much weaker than me. To give some context, this is the same decisive battle thing that I did with Oda. It procced with Hojo as I was cleaning up the game after. And I'm like, okay, I might as well finish them all. And I did like very little prep work. So I don't really expect to win this siege. I didn't even touch this castle. Yeah, unfortunately I have like 0 chance. So while I could, you know, micro a bit better to try to make them take casualties, I just have my hands off. I don't care.
我が武略をな。我が先鋒、今こそ受けるがいい。
我が先鋒の切れ味、その身で確かめよ。
鉄砲隊、我に続け。
敵兵など我が先鋒の前には物の数ではないわ。
いざ行かん。ここでこの軍略でもって決めてくれよ。今我が先鋒を見せてやろうぞ。これは厳しいかと。
Okay, and now it's time for the actual battle. Yeah. This should be fairly easy. The only thing is they have a bit of a morale bonus because stupid reasons. They have a crazy broken landmark. So, yeah, like, I'm pretty sure I don't really need to do much strategizing. Actually, their units are pretty good. I was gonna say, like, my officers are significantly better, but that's actually not the case. But again, doesn't matter. I think I can play extremely sloppily and still win.
口を願いますありえぬ
So, as you can see, I'm not doing anything fancy. It's just I have way more resources, so.
我が前に立ちふさがる者ら砕け散れいこいつ我が先方にて押し通るお指図を頂戴したく下地のお示しを紳士目標にて計りごとをなさ危うきを遠ざけられる今こそ正気我が先方その目に焼き付けよいざ向かうご命令を我が前に立ちふさがる者ら砕け散れいはっ当初の守りを固めこいつ我が先方にて押し通る頂上です皆よう戦った勝ち時をあげよ乗車必須ここまでか
That's all of Hojo.
勝利を叫べ世に示せ
That's all that. So I have to finish off that day, presumably. Maybe they'll accept the vassalage.
話を始めましょうか
How about Imagawa?
何用か申すがよい
Okay. Oh. The game wants me to end. But I'll do a true one tag. A true one tag? A one tag. I guess there's no distinction between true and normal one tag in this game.
お聞きいただきたい
Alright, so I'll probably have a little province here that considers Takeda left, and the province up here that just finishes off that day. So first things first, where would be like a good location? Maybe like here? I'll give Suzuki Sadayu.
ありがたき幸せ
And as for like Tokyo, oops. What am I doing? Point. Dominion. Actually, let's be thematic. Let's put it on Edo. Looking for the most talented senior retainer slash officer. I guess I could give it off to Kuroda Kambe. Yeah, let's give it away to this guy.
ありがたき幸せ
Make 2 provinces, 1 based on Edo. Guess I'll let him manage all of this. Then I'll make new province over here. I'm a bit worried that this region's underdeveloped and weak, though. It's possible that they will invade and actually beat him. So actually give him these two as well. I'm gonna wait a few ticks. Right. And now I'm going to appoint, I'm going to transfer people over. So this guy you can just have randomly a random collection of good people. There you go. I think that's it. I have a few policies to enact.
わかり申しました。
わかりましてござる。
わかり申しました。
見果てぬ夢でした。我が志継ぐ者は。
使えてみるもよいか。
ご神がございます。
This invasion might take a bit. Just because, yeah, these guys are very underdeveloped.
お耳を拝借して。
ご神がございます。
戦となるぞ。 婦人を始めよ。遅れてはならぬ。
皆の者、戦の支度だ。
戦ぞ。準備を万端整えよ。
よかろう。
戦か。勝つ準備をせね
心得申す。
皆、城攻めを始めなさい。わかり申しまし
Trying to get poor.
た。承知いたしました。
やったぜ。この城手に入れるぞ。
城郭は爆破できんのか。
城を攻めよ。皆行け。
喜んでかかりましょうぞ。
城攻めはコツがありまして。
よかろうて。
野戦となる陣を構えよ。
成し遂げてみせますぞ。敵将絡めと。城攻めを始めるぞ。城を制してみせました。わかり申しました。
我が働きお目にかけよう。
神妙に縄につけがよいわ。
甘いです。使えてみるもよいか。
残り短き命をとして働きまする。神明をとしてお仕えします。
やりました。
野郎ども、城攻めだ。申し上げたし。城なぞ早々に奪ってくれる。
お仕えいたします。
Ooh, this is cool. 720 people get +3 politics.
ありがたく存ずる。野戦となる陣を構えよ。野戦となる陣を構えよ。この城を落とします。
お耳に入れたきことが。戦じゃ。皆心構えをせよ。
戦が始まる。備えよ。
敵将絡め取った。
よろしいですか。
甘いです。
戦が始まる。備えよ。
Maybe cap out supplies. And I'm mostly out of money for more
縄
policies.
についていただこう。お使いす。
敵将を討ち取ったぞ。
えよ、声を
Oh no.
戦ぞ。
城攻めを始めます。
忠節を尽くしますぞ。
よろしいですか。
ご恩は忘れません。申し上げますぞ。城を攻めよ。 し上げる。さあ行くぞ。お断りだ。礼を申す。
城を制してみせました。敵将絡め取った。
ご恩は忘れませぬ。その松あっぱれ。お使いいたそう。
仕えてみるもよいか。
神明をとしてお仕えします。さあ行くぞ。腕が鳴るわい。縄についていただこう。
噂に聞く寛大な方ですね。
この城はわしらのものじゃ。よっしゃ、捕らえたわ。このご恩は忘れぬ。
いいだろう、使いよ
よろしいですか。
貴殿は器が大きいな。ええよ、声を上げよう。戦ぞ。
お耳を拝借しとく。
城攻めを始めよ
敵将絡め取った。
う。やったぞ。
貴殿を主と仰ぎましょう。
城攻めを始めよう。
Maybe I should release my vassals.
かたじけなし。
よし、城が落ちたぞ。
Oh. Oh.
我がの天下に鳴り響かせよ。
なんたることか。
お縄につくがよい。
お仕えいたします。よろしいですか。
礼を申す。
城を落とすぞ。続け。
忠節を尽くしますぞ。誠心誠意お仕えします。城を落としてくれよ。
戦ぞ。陣を整えよ。戦ぞ。陣を整えよ。敵将絡め取った。
なんと首を取らぬのか。
ことを始めます。
This area must be rough to conquer.
城を奪ってくれたわ。勝利を叫べ、世に示せ。敵将縛り上げよ。
お断りします。噂に聞くより寛大な方ですね。
さあ行くぞ。腕が鳴るわい。良き案がござる。
I'm gonna give this guy fresh, talented people. That helps. Good luck. Almost there.
残り短き命を賭して働きまする。
戦が始まる。備えよ。
Not yet.
戦が始まる。備えよ。
誠心誠意お仕えします。城なぞ早々に奪ってくれる。天命か。致し
Oh
方
no.
なし。
Already died.
この城を攻め落とすぞ。申し上げますぞ。
野戦となる。陣を構えよ。
嬉しゅうござる。さあ戦ぞ。腕が鳴るわい。考えがあり申す。お耳に入れたきことが。皆の者、戦の支度だ。お使いしよう。
城攻めはコツがありまして。
I wonder if I could just vassalize him.
話を始めましょ
No,
う。
because he has a vassal here.
我が部を示す時が来た。
上進いたします。
我が部を示す時が来た。敵将、我が手に落ちた。お使いいたす。心得申す。囲め、城攻めぞ。やったぜ。
野戦となる。陣を構えよ。
いかがですかな。お聞きいただきたい。
喜ばしいですな。
さあ戦ぞ。腕が鳴るわい。
The question is, do I get to annex this vassal? I don't know when I made Nobunaga my vassal.
お使いいたします。
兵よ、声を上げよ。戦ぞ。やり遂げてみせましょう。皆続け。 かがですかな。
サルジエがあります。
戦が始まるぞ。
城を囲め、攻め立てよ。どうかお任せを。兵よ、声を上げよ。戦ぞ。兵どもよ、陣を構えよ。申し上げますぞ。嬉しきことよ。お使いしよ
I'm fairly confident I'll finish conquering Date before
う。いかがですかな。
my 5-year period to annex them comes up. So sorry, but
では話を聞こうか。おのれ。
hopefully my officers are still loyal. Whoop. A lot of disloyal people.
我が部を示す時が来た。皆の者、戦の支度だ。
よろしいですか。
敵将が首取ったり。忠節を尽くしますぞ。
たまらぬわ。
ありがたいのう。
城を奪います。
我らが城を縄についていただこう。お断りいたす。礼を申し上げる。ついてまいれ。
お聞きいただきたい。
申し上げますぞ。ちとよろしいか。
Happy New Year to the Europeans.
城なぞ早々に奪ってくれる。
2026 is fine.
仕えてみるもよいか。
城なぞ早々に奪ってくれる。
城を落とすぞ。続け。
Yeah,
戦ぞ。
it's so tedious conquering in this region.
頂上ですぞ。
我が部を示す時が来た。
The castle density in the Tohoku region, this part of Japan, is like half that of Western Japan, so
誠心誠意お仕えします。礼を申し上げる。 捕らえたわ。次こそ負けぬわ。
お仕えいたします。
残り短き命
Oh,
を
that's
賭して
Takeda's father,
働き
Shingen's
ます。
father. Surprised he's still alive.
皆の者、戦の支度だ。
Sorry, no truce.
城を攻めよ。皆、行け。
網にかかって縛り上げよ。
放つだ。考えておる。
What's this? Takatora Todo. Oh, some story about him getting free food when he was homeless. That's cute. Cool.
陣を整え、開戦に備えよ。
この城はわしらのものじゃ。お縄につくがよい。
貴殿にはお仕えできぬ。ご恩は忘れませぬ。我らが城を落としたぞ。縄についていただこう。人をよろしいか。ありがたく帰らせてもらうわい。
A few more.
これより集金に励みます。
皆続け。皆の者、戦の支度だ。我が主のため力を尽くす。城なぞ早々に奪ってくれる。
お縄につくがよい。
お仕えいたそう。忠節を尽くしますぞ。
やりましたぞ。
上機嫌だわい。
遅れるでないぞ。
さあ行くぞ。腕が鳴るわい。この城を攻め落とすぞ。兵どもよ、陣を構えよ。
戦ぞ。準備を万端整えよ。よっしゃー、捕らえたわ。
人をよろしいか。
このご恩は忘れぬ。
我らが城を落とした。縄についていただこ
お断りします。噂に聞くより寛大な方ですね。
我が名を天下に鳴り響かせよ。敵将、 我が手に落ちた。
貴君にはお仕えできません。
One more castle.
貴殿にお仕えします。
お使いいたそう。
城攻めを始めます。
城攻め成し遂げたり。敵将我が手に落ちた。
Huzzah!
切るぞ。
There you go. A one tag. Chosokabe Motochika's efforts were recognized by the imperial court, which formally appointed them as the Seitai Shogun. The Chosokabe shogunate has been established. Woohoo! The Chosokabe clan controlled every single castle across the nation, and any who could have stood against them had been eradicated. National unity had at last been realized. Chosokabe Motochika promulgated the Edict of Peace, mandating a nationwide armistice and forbidding all private territorial disputes. 100 years of conflict came to a close with the advent of a new era that would be called the Chosokabe clan's peace.
素晴らしい。
Has been a long time coming, but a world without war is finally here, thanks in large parts to the efforts of our retainers. They say ventures are easier started than sustained. We must quickly secure the authority of the Chosokabe clan and ensure this peace lasts. Unfortunately, the Americans will come in 200 years. 300 years. Wait, 300? 18... I don't even know when the Americans came. Mid-19th century. Okay, 1850s. So 250-ish years. Now stabilized, Japan was able to accelerate its production of local specialties and spend the massive profits from these sales on the manufacture of export. Oh! What? Seems like in this timeline, Japan is already doing World War II things. Utilizing their military might and booming economy, Japan began trading in the seas of East Asia, where pirates and European merchants gathered. Huh. I wonder if there's a way I can do like the historical route where I close off everything. And so the mercantile powerhouse that was Chosokabe's Japan barreled ahead towards modern Europe, emerging as a great power on the global market. Ooh, that's a very ambitious timeline. And credits. I'm not sure if the movie's anything interesting. Seems like a generic movie, given by the fact that Nobunaga was featured, even though he wasn't the main character in the story. I'm not sure if there's a way for me to skip it. I'm pressing a few buttons, but can. That's Takeda Shingen, I think. Yeah, Takeda. That's Uesugi Kenshin. I don't that's Takenaka Hanbei. That's Ishida Mitsunari, I think. That's Date Masamune. I don't know this person. Crescent Moon, so so many things I don't recognize. Things, people, portraits of people. Yeah, unfortunately I can't recognize any of them. Presumably, like, their helmets are useful for identifying them. That is probably from the Sanada family. I don't know which one, though. I don't recognize any of them. If it's your first time finishing, you can't skip it. Oh, I see. That's the Imagawa, that guy. I remember him from his face. That's Akechi Mitsuhide. Must be some Takeda person, but I don't recognize him. That looks like Mori. So these must be his sons. Although I thought he had 3 sons, not 2. That's Tachibana Do-san, yeah. No, Tachibana forgot his full name. Dosetsu. Shoot, don't recognize any of them. Oh, that's the bomb dude. Sorry, his name is escaping me. That's Shibata, right? So I don't know who that is. That's Kicho, Nobunaga's wife, I think. Oh, I don't recognize these people though. That's Hideyoshi with his peacock helmet. I'm guessing that's Tokugawa Ieyasu, but I'm not sure. And that's Nobunaga at the end. There we go. So, surprisingly, only took an hour. I thought this would be a long grind, but it took me an hour to go from half of Japan to the rest of Japan. I guess a quick summary. I think early game. So for some reference. I don't know if I have old save files. This is 9 years in, so I don't have any early game save files. So first of all, I was playing on the hardest difficulty. Well, hardest according to the game. I think you can make it harder by doing custom and making things worse for you. Like make yourself have low income like this. But I don't think too many people play like that. Most people seem to play here. Seems like I found the early game very hard because the AI just... First of all, as I've repeatedly said, I think the AI really is aggressive in this game. And I guess unlike EU4, there's no concept of like truces that you can manage. So, well, I mean, there are truces, but you don't automatically get truces after a single war. So they just keep sending men after you constantly. And once I was surrounded by a few big nations, it was very annoying dealing with constant wars. Presumably, like, a part of it has to do with the fact that in this very hard mode, other clans have higher harvest, higher gold income, higher soldier restoration speed, and so on. So they're likely, they sort of outpace your production if things were even. But of course, you're the player, so you develop faster than them, and blah blah blah. So, but it's mostly about army micro. I found that a lot of early game wars playing as a small nation, and I also played with, you know, some self restrictions, like I won't ally Miyoshi or be their subject. I found that a lot of the early game wars relied on cheesing the AI, which is somewhat unfortunate, maybe? I don't know. There were lots of situations where it was just me waiting for ability cooldowns in big battles and just cheesing them. I'm pretty sure if I didn't do that, I wouldn't have, like, for example, won against Miyoshi, who started with all of this. But I think some cheeses were a bit harder to do than others. When they, and my guess is cheesing tends to be easier in low castle density areas because enemies don't send troops in a coordinated way. So it's more likely that that you can pick them off one by one when you are in low density areas. I assume in high density areas, it's much harder. Even a dumb pathing would cause lots of troops to be grouped just because there's so many castles. I also found it, compared to EU4, I also found it mildly sad that navies play zero role in this game. There's no concept of a navy. It's, you know, just like in, I mean, a lot of games where there is no abstraction, unit level abstraction of your boats. So your units just become boats and transport. And there's no, like, way you can abuse naval control. I guess to be fair, unlike like Western Europe during this period, a lot of the wars here were mostly decided by land-based warfare. But I guess this might be my like EU4 based bias showing, where I would have been happier being able to do like naval plays playing on a small island. Like, it would have been really cool if I could like abuse AIs using navies around here, for example. But that's just not possible. So that's somewhat unfortunate for me. And actually, thinking back, I don't know of any Nobunaga's Ambition games that had an actually useful and impactful navy in the EU4 sense. But to be fair, I've only played 2 other Nobunaga's Ambition style games in the past. Not style, but actual Nobunaga's Ambition games. Let's see, what else should I talk about? Lack of navy. So soldier micromanagement, I think, is a bit lacking, but part of it might be the fact that there might be shortcuts and like other UI options that I haven't really explored. But I did find it tedious doing left click, drag my mouse, left click, and then left click on a destination. And then I guess confirm. That's a lot of clicking to send out your units from a castle. And that's for a single castle. I have to do it for multiple. The other option I know of, which is military march, and then you set some location. This is somewhat automatic, but the problem is it spawns troops from castles that I don't want. And I have to click and cancel march. So it depends, like, whether this is better than the manual clicking every castle thing really depends on what the AI thinks I meant when I click march. Like, if I do this, the AI thinks I should march out from all these castles, and I don't know, maybe I don't want to march out from these 2, so I have to click on them, cancel march, and I don't know, maybe I also want to march from here for some reason, so I might do click march here or something like that. So this, yeah, so again, this might be a me not knowing shortcuts thing, but I found just the general whole spawning armies thing very tedious to do. Sphere of Influence. Oh, really? Because I've played Sphere of Influence. So, I just must be totally misremembering them. Thanks for correcting me. Yeah, it would have been nice for this particular game though that navies played a bigger role. And I mean, historically, I think this area played where navies played a huge role, right? This Murakami Suigun. Oh, what are they called? I thought they were called the Murakami Suigun. Noshima Suigun. This Suigun means navy, so like there were historically very important naval powers or powers that relied on the navy. So it would have been nice. Anyway, so I talked about army micro or spawning units being slightly annoying. I found sieges to be a bit monotonous. Or actually, let's talk about sieges in the overworld. Like, I just send my units here and then have them stand here. I found that... actually, I found it more interesting than EU4. Because... Or maybe not interesting, but a bit... Because it was deterministic, I found it easier to plan around sieges. But the whole provisions requirement in practice makes it such that a lot of the sieges that you'd intuit would be possible in your EU4 trained eyes are just not possible here. You really have to slowly expand. So, I don't know. Good or bad? I can't tell. I'd just say it's different. And sieges in the sense of, you know, the ones where you enter your own battle, I found those sieges fairly interesting. However, I found some of the unit micro in sieges extremely unintuitive or weird. I've complained about it a few times during this gameplay, but sometimes units would just like overlap with each other and they just won't move the way I asked them to. And I genuinely can't tell if it's my skill issue or the game bugging out. And the fact that I can't tell, it should be a relevant thing to point out because assuming I'm not a total clown, which I hope I'm not, if it really is my skill issue, then the game UI is not informing me that in an obvious way. So I'd argue that is a problem, whether or not it's really me not understanding the game mechanics, or the units just janking out and crashing into each other. I've had many situations where units were just crashing into each other and I couldn't like run away. So I found that a bit annoying. What else? I think that's about it. I guess I'll now talk about the things I really enjoyed about this game compared to EU4. So first of all, I wouldn't say I like the fact that this game is so character-driven, but I do like the fact that this game is character-driven compared to EU4. In EU4, the characters that show up are what? Your advisors, your ruler, heir, and your generals. Well, and I guess your admirals. Okay, fine, and then your explorers and the conquistadors, but they're very soulless, right? And I do find it interesting that a lot of, like, you know, characters aren't just numbers. They're numbers plus a bunch of traits that are things that I took into account early on. Later on, you know, there were way too many characters, and this is arguably a flaw with this kind of character-driven game. When you have like 500 characters, you can't realistically expect the player to micromanage it. But maybe that's okay, especially because the game has automation options. Like, as you saw me take advantage of the province option, you've also seen me use the auto point button. To be honest, I haven't evaluated how good this auto point is. My guess is it's not very good, but that's okay. So, I would say overall, the character-driven part is a plus, but I wouldn't say slapping on characters to EU4 is necessarily what I want, I guess. I like the efforts they made to solve the late game fatigue with these kinds of conquest games. I have some mixed feelings about the whole decisive battle thing because it just seems so arcadey, I guess. You know, you take turn 1, you siege their castle, turn 2, they siege your castle, and turn 3, you do a big battle. But to be honest, that's probably better than not having it, I think. That's my guess. I also like the fact that after major battles you get authority and just like can wipe a bunch of provinces for free. I guess what I feel slightly meh about is that means that battles are extremely impactful in this game, and a single lost battle can like really destroy your country. You know, in EU4, I feel like losing one battle won't destroy your country unless you're going for like very optimized speedruns. And I think the fact that a single battle can be so impactful from a gameplay perspective means that in practice, one save scums. But I don't know. I don't know if that's a good thing or a bad thing. But yeah, I do like the fact that they tried their best. Maybe not their best, but tried a reasonable amount to make the late game fatigue issue go away. I think that's about it. I've not done a decisive battle, only just updated after 3 long plays of the game. I've only done Chosokabe, Takeda, and Date. Very cool. Yeah, I've done 2 decisive battles in this playthrough. I conquered like all of Oda. I conquered all of Hojo. So, to be honest, I'm not sure if I'll play any major countries next game. This game, I already had enough fun playing OP characters. Next game, I'm thinking I do a challenge where I only conquer coastal countries, coastal cities. That'll be a shit show, but I'm very curious how it works. So, anyway, that's it for now. Happy New Year's, everyone. Well, Happy New Year to the Europeans. Almost Happy New Year's to the Brits. And the non-Brits who are in that time zone. I think Portugal also shares that time zone, right? Try Hokkaido. Actually, so on console, I've played as Namioka on very hard. And I think I've conquered up to here. Where I felt like I could finish the game because I took Uesugi Kenshin. I actually greatly enjoyed the opener for Namioka though. I'm not sure if this is the right way to play, but what happens when you play Namioka is I can show the audience. So, as a Namioka, you're... You're, first of all, right next to a country that's much bigger than you. And your, in quote, obvious expansion path isn't actually so obvious. Because to get there, it takes, like, at least half your supplies. So solving this was pretty interesting. Oh, also, it doesn't help that these guys are allied. So. Thankfully, they don't really come to assistance when you're fighting them. Even though I guess they technically can. But from my experience, that never happened. So anyway, the way I solved this is, I don't know if this is the right way to solve it, was essentially, I just constantly harassed this dude. to drain their supplies, because once you attack here, they'll send out all their army to go here. So that essentially nullifies this castle. Then using another stack,
打つべき手は何
I
ぞ
started harassing this guy.
我に続け
Okay, and then using another stack, I started harassing this guy. And if you repeat this,
打つべき手は何ぞ
you'll outgrow them.
急ぐぞ かの地を我らが手に
So, this was a pretty fun start. But I want to actually play somewhere else next time. I'm honestly not a huge fan of hitting Hojo and fighting Hojo. I've done that twice already. Alright. Anyway, see you everyone. Hope you have a great new